East Coast 26 here, and today we got another episode of Coast TV and Movie Reviews. Of the first episode, last I checked, it got like 28 views, which was pretty good. So I'm gonna do another episode, and we're doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 2 because that show is amazing. I can't stop watching it. I'm wondering how I'm gonna watch Part 3 because Part 3 isn't on Netflix. But we're not here to talk about Part 3. We're here to talk about Part 2, Battle Tendency. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Now, also keep in mind, I'm using information from websites from this season, and also whatever information the websites don't have, I will fill in like certain characters are missing from the website summary, so I'll be filling that in. So anyways, in the winter of 1938, Robert Speedwagon, if you guys remember him, one of the coolest characters in Part 1, basically went from crime person to a really rich businessman and made the Speedwagon Foundation, which discovered a Mexican pyramid, which they found a bunch of stone masks along with a man stoned up like Han Solo and Carbon, which is inside a stone column, remembering he and his friend Jonathan Joestar back like 49 years before, facing Dio and the stone mask and all the chaos through that. Speedwagon tried contacting Strayzo to meet him in Mexico for his aid in destroying the mask and the person inside there before he awakens. But Strayzo betrays, suddenly kills Speedwagon's associates before badly injuring Speedwagon, what led Strayzo to this was the fantasize of the youthfulness and vigor the stone mask granted Dio, which after that Strayzo used the spilled blood to activate the mask, and while transforming into the vampire, explaining he intends to eliminate anybody who knows of the mask. Meanwhile, in New York City, over in America, Jonathan's grandson, Joseph Joestar, is introduced into the story, which is our JoJo for this season, which he is starts showing him off, buying a drink, a little Coca-Cola, which he is then pickpocketed by a lad named Smokey Brown, and after that defeats a pair of police officers, brutalizing Smokey for, I guess, pickpocketing Joseph, which you would think like that he would just let him do that because he basically stole from him, but he did not do that. He basically demonstrated his ability to utilize Hammond to the officers, which he punches one in the face and the other one opening a cap from the Coca-Cola and shoots it to the dude's thumb, which breaks his thumb. So now after that, he basically befriends Smokey, as seen in his grandma arena, and make the boy feel welcome like a friend. During dinner, after showing a lesson to a disrespectful dinner goer, Joseph is soon informed by a mobster of Speedwagon presumed dead at the hands of Strayzo, which then Arena starts remembering the horrors that happened 49 years before. Later, after sunset, Joseph is confronted outside a cafe by Strayzo, who plans to kill him before JoJo can be a threat to him, which JoJo, in this case, was one step ahead and like a savage pulls out a Tommy gun and mows down Strayzo in front of the cafe, which, however, JoJo knew that bullets wouldn't do the trick, so once Strayzo was able to get up, even JoJo made a run for it, hoping he would follow, and he did, and they fought for a while. They fought for a while until JoJo defeated him on a bridge. Strayzo reveals that when he became a vampire, he was forced to dump Speedwagon and his victims into a river to prevent the spilled blood from reviving the Pillarmen in the So column, Straizo finally self-destructs by breathing the Howlin into himself before JoJo could ask any more questions. So, with Straizo's final words in Joseph's head, JoJo travels to Mexico and learns from an assassin named Donovan who tries to attempt to kill JoJo but fails. Learns that the Nazis under the command of Rudolf von Stroheim, which you were just going to call him Stroheim or von Stroheim, would have taken Speedwagon prisoner, which, good to know, Speedwagon is completely alive to get information out of Speedwagon about the mask and such, which, of course, Speedwagon warns them not to mess with the Pillarmen because they are playing with a very dangerous game right there. And they revealed they have extracted the Pillarmen and proceeded to revive them for research purposes, which, of course, Speedwagon keeps on warning them not to, but, why would the Nazis listen? Stroheim uses the blood of Mexican civilians into the Pillarmen to awake it, and of course Speedwagon just horrified, knowing what's gonna happen. Once being named Santana by Stroheim, Santana is awakened, and Santana already demonstrates his superhuman abilities, which actually proven he is more powerful than these vampires that are made from the mask, which is a surprising thing for them. So now Joseph appears because he snuck in the base, and a little fight thing starts, but really JoJo doesn't even take things really serious. He doesn't even, if the fight haven't even begun yet, but he doesn't even take anything serious, while Stroheim and Speedwagon are telling him to destroy it. Of course, JoJo is just like, oh, nah, he hasn't done anything yet. I mean, just because we awaken him doesn't mean he's seriously not that bad yet. But then that mood will switch when the Santana just keeps on ignoring Joseph's games, which Joseph has a different way of fighting rather than Jonathan. Joseph uses sleight of hand and trickery on his opponents. So as they start looking towards sunlight as the fighting went on for a little bit, and they already know that sunlight's the only way to get rid of them, so they attempt to open the door. Of course, Santana tries to stop him. Stroheim tries to get to the door, but Santana stops him, and Stroheim asks JoJo to chop his leg off so he could reach the door, which then JoJo kind of hesitates, but then does it. Doors open, but then as a last attempt, Santana goes inside Stroheim's leg, fuses in him, which then Stroheim gets outside and blows himself up with a grenade. So now he is exposed to sunlight again after grenade exploded, and one strong Santana remains at the Washington branch of Speedwagon's Foundation, which is basically just the stoned up remains. He can't really do anything anymore. And now the only thing left is another piece of information Joseph learned from Stroheim right before he blew himself up is that there's actually a trio of Pillarmen that are sleeping in Rome, and that is a problem because not only do they have to deal with one of them, but now they have to deal with three more. So now that leads us to Rome. So now JoJo and Speedwagon go to Rome, which they cross paths with Speedwagon's contact in Italy, Caesar Antonio Zeppeli, which is of course the grandson of Will A. Zeppeli, who died in part 1, we all know. They don't... Of course, JoJo and Caesar doesn't really get along at first, because Caesar blames Jonathan for his grandfather's death, and he just calls Joseph's win against Santana just dumb luck. Basically, well, it's gonna be pretty true here, but it's basically it. Best be known as to them, the Pyromen are already awakening in our Coliseum, which they kill the soldiers are in that room. Before that, though, back in Rome, Caesar and JoJo try showing off their Hammond skills, and then and they end up both getting beat by each other. Anyway, the crew, JoJo, Speedo, and Caesar ride to Rome with Caesar's friend Mark, who basically drives them there and gives them access to it. I guess he works for the German army and whatnot. When Joseph, Speedo, and Caesar and Mark arrive at the underground cave where the Pillarmen are, they notice that they are already dead inside. The Pillarmen, who go by the names of Wamu, SDC, and Cars, are awakened. Suddenly one of the Pillarmen just bumps into Mark, and Mark is now just half a body. He's half a man. Ha 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 ha. Okay, whatever. So yeah, Mark is just dead now. Joseph and Caesar confront the three Pillarmen, but they were already familiar with Hammond users and developed counters just like Dio did. And it only took Walmu to defeat both of them easily. As Walmu prepares to deal one last mortal blow to Joseph, he gives a proposition that he could get stronger with his Hammond training and give him a fair fight. So, because Wamu loves the battle, he accepts it, but as insurance, he implants the wedding ring of death inside Joseph's artery to keep him from running away from the fight, and explains that the ring will dissolve into a poison that's within 33 days, while revealing the antidote to be inside his lip ring. SDC also places his own ring around Joseph's windpipe to seal his death, with the antidote in his own ring nose piercing. So yeah, like, SDC just thinks it's all a game, just joins in. However, the Pillarmen's later Cars just passes on it, says we don't got time for that, and they take their leave to find the Redstone in Asia, which is going to be an important part of this. Caesar finds respect for Joseph's, like, act of heroism there with the deal, trying to buy them some time, which they bought themselves, like, more than a month. So, now, moving on. So now, wanting to help Joseph control his Hammond better and master it, he takes him to Venice to meet his Hammond master, Lisa, who will be an important character. Lisa, assisted by her servants Loggins and Maslina. I still can't say that name. I swear, the other day, I watched a show, and yeah, I forgot the dude's name. We're just gonna call him M. So, please don't hate on me. Okay. So, they harshly train Joseph and Caesar and manage to shape him the Hammond Master in weeks. Now, real quick, before they started the real training, Lisa put them through the hardest training, which was the pillar, the big gigantic pillar that they were forced to climb up with only using their hands and Hammond, which also below was a bunch of oil. So, so that took them like 72 hours or something to climb. So now, near the end of training, Lisa reveals to Joseph and Caesar that Cars is the one who created the stone mask, and the most likely one that caused their grandfather's death, and reveals that Cars is seeking a flawless redstone of Asia, the Super Asia, which is in her possession, to perfect the mask and use it to become the ultimate life form. So now, with a week left of training, with the ring still inside Joseph, Lisa pits Joseph and Caesar against Loggins and M, respectively, for the last Hammond test. However, whenever Joseph reaches his location for Loggins, he finds Loggins is dead by ECDC, who learned of the Super Asia's location. And the logic I don't get is that why would they only send just him? Why not all three of them go get the stone if that's what they needed? But anyways, he proceeds to fight ECDC, and the Pillarmen's wits are a match for Joseph, of course. But JoJo still manages to use sleight of hand tricks and binds ECDC with the ropes of woolen strains, dealing a seemingly fatal blow to the Pillarmen and getting rid of the ring, which knocks out the windpipe ring inside JoJo. So that is one ring down. There's just another one to go. But however, though, ECDC did survive. He infiltrated Lisa's island as like just a little brain and possesses Susie Q, one of Lisa's servants. And through Susie Q, he takes the Super Asia and then sends it off through the postman. ECDC threatens to kill Susie Q, but Joseph and Caesar cooperate to finish him off by using positive and negative Hamon. Lisa uses hypnosis on Susie Q and learns that the stone is aboard train heading to Switzerland. Thus, JoJo, Caesar, Lisa, and them go off to catch the package before it reaches the destination, otherwise the stone would be nowhere to be found ever again, and that would be a big problem for them. So now, once they got to the Switzerland border, JoJo and the group find the train that's been stopped by the Nazis, and they retrieve the package with the stone in it. The leader of the Nazis, who seems familiar with JoJo, invites the group to a log cabin up ahead, which the group has no other choice to get the stone, so they go ahead and follow later the evening. Cars attacks the cabin to retrieve the Super Asia. The Nazi leader is revealed to be Stromheim, rebuilt as a cyborg, matching Santana's power. But however, these are defeated because Santana is the weakest of the four Pyramid. Oh boy, well, oh no, what a surprise. Okay, but anyway, he is easily defeated. Stromheim manages to make Cars drop the stone, and then the stone is then just sliding towards a cliff. A race between JoJo and Cars ensures for the possession of the stone, which ends in Joseph managing to snatch it by kicking the ground to get it. However, he still falls down the cliff with Cars, and then he has to try to improvise a way to stop him from falling to his death. So he grabs icicles and tries making a little rope with it, which Caesar helps him out from the top. Now, keep in mind, Hamon does not work in solids, but because there's water around the ice, it helps. So, Cars expressing a deep-seated hatred towards JoJo for sensing him as ECD's killer allows him to hold the red stone for a little bit longer. Just a little bit. Until later on. So the next day at St. Moritz, or Moritz, however you say it, St. M. However, learning the Pyramid are taking residence in the abandoned hotel there, Caesar wishes to ambush Cars during the day before Wamu can return. However, Joseph objects that it might be a trap, so instead of wanting to hop into the fight like he always does, he wants to wait till nighttime, because daytime is when they expect them to attack. So a fight ensures, and an angry Caesar, accompanied by M, decides to go to the hotel without support. Lisa tells Joseph of Caesar's past, having assumed his father Mario left the family before he died to save him from being devoured by the rest of the Pillarmen. The story convinces Joseph to follow after Caesar. However, as Caesar reached the hotel, he and M were attacked by Wamu, who is using streams of moist air to protect him from the sunlight. Wamu manages to drag the fight inside the hotel, but Caesar corners the pyramid by using bubble lens to direct sunlight into him, even though they're inside the building. In a moment of anger, Caesar jumps towards Wamu to deal final blow, but however, because he went to jump up, it's blocking a part of the sunlight, so Wamu takes advantage of that split second to counter with a point-blank divine sandstorm that fatally injures Caesar, which is he's defeated, but as a last defiant act, steals Wamu's lip ring and secures it before a piece of ceiling crushes him, which now his little head tie thing and the ring is just in a little bubble. Wamu respects Caesar's gesture for his fight, but allows the bubble to remain for Joseph instead of simply popping it and grabbing back his ring. He just leaves it there, and Joseph and Lisa arrive there, and they mourn death, and the two of them decide to venture further inside the building despite having Wamu's lip ring. Joseph vows not to drink it until he defeats him and avenge Caesar. So he's kind of keeping his promise he made like 30 or like almost a full month ago. So there's that. Well, as JoJo and Lisa go on, and then effortlessly destroying one of the vampires, they find themselves finding the two pyramid, and greatly outnumbered by their hundreds of vampire minions. Lisa manages to hold off their attack with a very big bluff that she rigged a time bomb to destroy the Super Asia if she and JoJo were unable to return, or it suggesting 2-on-1 matches to sell things. So kind of shows there Lisa's a good bluffer like JoJo is in this one. Cars accepts, but of course tells Lisa to stay for insurance, that everything is telling the truth. While JoJo goes back and gets the stone, however, when he gets the stone, he finds a picture in Lisa's bag with Arena Speedwagon and Strazo in it, and wondered why she would have a picture of them in there. Next night, well, I don't know if it was next night. It was probably like later that night. Joseph, Lisa, Wamu, and Cars met at the Skeleton Heelstone at the foot of Pitt's Bernera. Putting on Caesar's bandana, Joseph engages Wamu in a chariot race, like an old school medieval style type of thing, super powered by vampire horses. JoJo gets Wamu the first time with a hammer, but then Wamu pokes out his own eyes and uses a horn on his head to track JoJo by wind, trying not to rely on his eyes. Ultimately, despite his opponent gorging his own eyes out for the edge, JoJo is again able to defeat Wamu, whose body is destroyed in the process, while JoJo takes time to honor Wamu and drinks the antidote before his head then salutes him. Only remains Cars left to fight Lisa. The final showdown is between Lisa, and Cars. However, unexpectedly, Cars uses a body double like a coward to distract Lisa and stabs her from behind, showing her that he is just playing a really dirty game to just get the stone, then unleashes his vampires on our breath. JoJo. All seems to be over until an upgraded Stroheim, the Nazis, and Speedwagon, a corp of Speedwagon Foundation agents, and Smokey arrives to help them. While the vampires are distracted, Joseph confronts Cars. The Pyroman also used unconscious Lisa as a shield and forces Joseph to try to keep her from falling off into the spikes while trying to prepare for Cars' attacks. While this goes on, Speedwagon reveals to Smokey that Lisa is revealed to be the biological mother of Joseph, and her real name is actually Elizabeth Joestar. So Hey, what a surprise. What a shocker. Okay. It is also explained that in a little flashback, her husband, Joseph Father, George, was killed by the last of JoJo's troops while posing as a high-ranking Air Force commander. However, when Elizabeth killed the zombie, she was sighted by another unaware officer and forced to go into hiding as a criminal, taking on the name of Lisa for her own safety with the help of Speedwagon and his foundation to get her out of there. There's also a little scene where Rena tells Speedwagon not to tell JoJo, aka Joseph, about the mask or any of that, and that his mother died in childbirth. In the present, Joseph manages to trick Cars and hits him with Hammond, making the Pillarman fall to the ground. Nazi tries to kill Cars while he's down with UV lights, but at the last moment, Cars pulls out one last trick and dons a stone mask with the red stone embedded in it, which Stroheim immediately regrets that decision to hit the light at him, using the light to his advantage. Car becomes the ultimate life form. So, they're in some doo-doo. So really, at first, it doesn't seem he changed too. Well, actually, yeah. Like at this point, you know he changes. But first thing he does is make a squirrel. Believe it or not, yes, he makes a squirrel. Then it looks like the squirrel's making friends with another squirrel. But then, in a twist of fate, cannibalism. A squirrel eating a squirrel. So it turns out he can turn it. Like Cars can now turn his hand into anything. So he can transform into any life form and is immune to the sun. JoJo, who makes a strategic retreat in order to lure out Cars, who is hungry for revenge, and flies away on a German airplane, who is followed by Cars. And Joseph's plan is to look for a volcano, which he closes in on. Cars manages to disable plane. However, JoJo and Stroheim, who's been hiding in the plane, manages to lure Cars into a bay and uses the crashing plane to send him straight into the lava. However, he emerges from the lava unscathed and cuts off JoJo's left arm with a sneak attack. Both JoJo and Stroheim realize they cannot hope to defeat the ultimate life form and basically accept their deaths. However, when Cars prepares for the final last blow, JoJo has one more card up his sleeve with a Hammond-infused punch. The Hammond-infused punch was supposed to go to JoJo. JoJo uses the Super Asia to basically reflect the punch and cause the energy to cause an eruption of the volcano from the influence of the Hammond and sending Cars into space, like sending both JoJo and Cars up there on a platform, and Cars goes into space. Cars has no way to reach back to Earth, and his defects mechanism freezes, and he is unable to travel back to Earth. And unlucky for immortality with his newfound powers, he becomes brain dead, which means he's now thinking nothing in an endless vacuum of space. As for JoJo, he just passes out, and we think he's dead right now. So is it over? Nope, not yet. So now we are a few weeks later. The group of Arena, Lisa, who I guess is apparently still alive, Smokey, Speedwagon, pay their respects to Joseph at his funeral, but to their surprise, Joseph appears from behind, alive and well. Oh boy, JoJo's not dead. He's wondering why they're looking so amazed, but that he's unaware of whose funeral it is. But then once he looks, he sees his own name on the headstone and explains, after falling back down from the sky, he has landed up in Italy, where he is helped by the local fishermen, and after finding and marrying Susie Koo, and then returned to America and his friends. Unfortunately, Susie Q forgot to telegram the group that JoJo was alive. Hence the funeral. Enraged, JoJo chases Susie through the cemetery while his comrade celebrates survival. So, hey, wonderful. So now, the whole gist of it all. Let's go through characters. Lisa, aka Elizabeth Joestar, reveals her true identity to JoJo before moving to America with her family and marrying a Hollywood screenwriter in 1948. Irina Joestar continued her work as a teacher until she died peacefully in 1950, surrounded by her friends and family. Robert Speedwagon continued his scientific and medical research before dying of a heart attack in 1952. He never married, but really his only family he really had was JoJo and them, so technically he was family. So despite the discrimination he faced as an African American, Smokey Brown went on to major in political science in college before becoming the first black mayor in the city of his home state of Georgia, which actually is surprising to me during the time. I don't know how. Wait, was that possible back in? I don't know. I don't know, because I would think with Jim Crow laws then it would not be very friendly. Major Stroheim was killed leading the German retreat at the Battle of Stalingrad in 1943, which he called a fearsome example of the German silence he always championed. Alright, but anyway, we are now 48 years later, and old Joseph now is seen at the JFK International Airport kicking a Japanese man in the knee who accidentally hit him with his luggage, which voices anger towards the Japanese, explaining that his own daughter moved to Japan after marrying a Japanese man and never came back. His own grandson doesn't recognize him. The story ends with Joseph hanging out on a plane, and then after the credits shows, I guess, like the teaser for part 3, I guess, like on a boat, them picking up a chest that says Dio on it, dump, 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 and then it shows, I guess, a little scene with the character named Jotaro standing there, which I assume is our next JoJo for the next part. So that is JoJo Part 2. Oh boy. So, real quick, I want to forgive people for if mic stuff was a problem, because I paused between recording and I was trying to listen to it. Unfortunately, I would try to fix it, but that's that. And plus, I know volume is unleveled. But anyway, more talking about JoJo. I thought this part was amazing. I don't know if I'm gonna say it's better than part 1, because I pretty much liked part 1 also. I really want to watch more. I want to find out how I'm watching part 3, because it's not on Netflix. Which Netflix? What are you doing? Put the rest of the parts on Netflix, on your streaming service. You're already losing Marvel movies, so you might as well find stuff to put on Netflix. So yeah, I gotta watch part 3 at some point. I'll figure it out of how I'm watching it. I am loving this show. If you guys enjoyed it, and actually I gotta rate it, so I give this, I forgot why I rated part 1, so I'm gonna do it on 1 out of 10, on 1 through 10. I rate this a good 8.8 out of 10. Yeah, a good 8.8 out of 10. I think that's a really fair rating to give part 2. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, and like if you, like I said, like again if you guys want more of these. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.